In this video we will talk about a massacre happened in Bosnia. In April 1992, the government of the Yugoslav Republic of Bosnia-Herzegovina declared its independence from Yugoslavia. Over the next several years, Bosnian Serb forces, with the backing of the Serb-dominated Yugoslav army, perpetrated atrocious crimes against Bosniak, Bosnian Muslim, and Croatian civilians, resulting in the deaths of some 100,000 people, 80% of them Bosnian, by 1995. In the aftermath of World War II, the Balkan states of Bosnia-Herzegovina, Serbia, Montenegro, Croatia, Slovenia and Macedonia became part of the Federal People's Republic of Yugoslavia. After the death of longtime Yugoslav leader Josip Broz Tito in 1980, growing nationalism among the different Yugoslav republics threatened to split their union apart. This process intensified after the mid-1980s with the rise of the Serbian leader Slobodan Milosevic, who helped foment discontent between Serbians in Bosnia and Croatia and their Croatian, Bosniak and Albanian neighbors. In 1991, Slovenia, Croatia and Macedonia declared their independence. During the war in Croatia that followed, the Serb-dominated Yugoslav army supported Serbian separatists there in brutal clashes with Croatian forces. In Bosnia, Muslims represented the largest single population group by 1971. More Serbs and Croats emigrated over the next 2 decades, and in a 1991 census Bosnia's population of some 4 million was 44% Bosniak, 31% Serb, and 17% Croatian. Elections held in late 1990 resulted in a coalition government split between parties representing the three ethnicities, in rough proportion to their populations, and led by the Bosniak Alija Izetbegovic, as tensions built inside and outside the country. The Bosnian Serb leader Radovan Karadzic and his Serbian Democratic Party withdrew from government and set up their own Serbian National Assembly. On March 3, 1992, after a referendum vote, which Karadzic's party blocked in many Serb-populated areas, President Izetbegovic proclaimed Bosnia's independence. Far from seeking independence for Bosnia, Bosnian Serbs wanted to be part of a dominant Serbian state in the Balkans, the Greater Serbia, that Serbian separatists had long envisioned. In early May 1992, 2 days after the United States and the European Community, the precursor to the European Union, recognized Bosnia's independence, Bosnian Serb forces with the backing of Milosevic and the Serb-dominated Yugoslav army launched their offensive with a bombardment of Bosnia's capital, Sarajevo. They attacked Bosniak-dominated towns in eastern Bosnia, including Zvornik, Foča, and Visegrad, forcibly expelling Bosniak civilians from the region in a brutal process that later was identified as ethnic cleansing. Ethnic cleansing differs from genocide in that its primary goal is the expulsion of a group of people from a geographical area and not the actual physical destruction of that group, even though the same methods, including murder, rape, torture and forcible displacement, may be used. Though Bosnian government forces tried to defend the territory, sometimes with the help of the Croatian army, Bosnian Serb forces were in control of nearly 3/4 of the country by the end of 1993. And Karadzic's party had set up their own Republika Srpska in the east. Most of the Bosnian Croats had left the country, while a significant Bosniak population remained only in smaller towns. Several peace proposals between Croatian Bosniak Federation and Bosnian Serbs failed when the Serbs refused to give up any territory. The United Nations refused to intervene in the conflict in Bosnia, but a campaign spearheaded by its High Commissioner for Refugees provided humanitarian aid to its many displaced, malnourished and injured victims. By the summer of 1995, 3 towns in eastern Bosnia, Srebrenica, Zepa and Gorazda, remained under control of the Bosnian government. The UN had declared these enclaves, safe havens, in 1993, to be disarmed and protected by international peacekeeping forces. On July 11, 1995, however, Bosnian Serb forces advanced on Srebrenica, overwhelming a battalion of Dutch peacekeeping forces stationed there. Serbian forces subsequently separated the Bosniak civilians at Srebrenica, putting the women and girls on buses and sending them to Bosnian-held territory. Some of the women were raped or sexually assaulted, while the men and boys who remained behind were killed immediately or bused to mass killing sites. Estimates of Bosniaks killed by Serb forces at Srebrenica range from around 7,000 to more than 8,000. After Bosnian Serb forces captured Zepa that same month and exploded a bomb in a crowded Sarajevo market, the international community began to respond more forcefully to the ongoing conflict and its ever-growing civilian death toll. In August 1995, after the Serbs refused to comply with a UN ultimatum, joined efforts with Bosnian and Croatian forces for 3 weeks of bombing Bosnian Serb positions and a ground offensive, with Serbia's economy crippled by UN trade sanctions and its military forces under assault in Bosnia after 3 years of warfare. Milosevic agreed to enter negotiations that October. In November 1995 peace talks, which included Izetbegovic, Milosevic and Croatian President Franjo Tudjman, resulted in the creation of a federalized Bosnia divided between a Croat Bosniak Federation and a Serb Republic. Though the international community did little to prevent the systematic atrocities committed against Bosniaks and Croats in Bosnia while they were occurring, it did actively seek justice against those who committed them. In May 1993, the UN Security Council created the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia, ICTY, at The Hague, Netherlands. It was the first international tribunal since the Nuremberg trials in 1945-46, and the first to prosecute genocide, among other war crimes. Radovan Karadzic and the Bosnian Serb military commander, General Ratko Mladic, were among those indicted by the ICTY for genocide and other crimes against humanity. The ICTY would eventually indict 161 individuals of crimes committed during conflict in the former Yugoslavia. Brought before the tribunal in 2002 on charges of genocide, crimes against humanity and war crimes, Milosevic served as his own defense lawyer. His poor health led to long delays in the trial until he was found dead in his prison cell in 2006. A Dutch reporter met a Bosnian man who came back in Srebrenica and he is doing a duty of imam in mosque. He told him that he still remembers that day when his father left them on the truck that will take them out of war zone. His father was assuring him that he will come to meet them when the war will end and it will happen soon. Imam says but his father never came to meet them because all the people who were in Srebrenica were killed soon after evacuation of women and children. Now he says whenever he passes near the graveyard he stops his car and say Assalamu alaikum father.